Hello everybody, welcome back to another video by DissociaDID. It's Kaya. I'm your host for today's video. No, I'm the system host in general, which means that I'm the person who is out most often in our system. By out, I mean in control of the body, aware of what's going on, able to do things in daily life. So one thing that you guys generally give us in terms of feedback is that we make you feel safe, validated, and reassured. And that's one of the reasons why we've got this up there. You are safe, so that no matter what video we're making, what difficult topics we might be discussing, there's always something to remind you that this is a safe space, you're okay, and everything is going to be alright. First of all, it was, how do I explain to my friends what my Are you okay? How do I explain to my friends what my disorder is, especially as Chloe was starting to learn what it really meant rather than what had come to mind when we were first told, oh, you have DID. Everything that ran into Chloe's head was horror movie tropes, stigma, fear, the whole stereotype of murderers and losing control of your body and just scary stuff that is not accurate to what DID is. And then when we started making videos and people asked for more, can you make a video about this? Can you explain this, that, and the other? That's how DissociaDID started. And it started in 2018, and now it's turned into what we call the DissociaDID project, which is something that we've dedicated ourselves to try and lift that stigma as much as possible. Well, Chloe started it, and then Nin continued it after Chloe... Serafina! What are you knocking down? Hey, can you be a little bit quieter while I'm filming? I gotcha. Okay, who is this? This is Serafina. She's our emotional support kitten. Well, she's just over a year old now, aren't you? She helps us so much, and we love her very, very much. And we'll have a video coming on her and how she's helped us sometime soon. I can feel my stress level going down. My pretty girl. Would you let me pop you down? Good girl. Yes, good girl. The DissociaDID project started with Chloe wanting to make videos about, okay, well, what is DID? What's the information we've found? What's the educational content? How does it relate to PTSD, neuroscience, and everything like that? Chloe integrated with Nina and became Nin, who was our host, and Nin started making videos, and hers were a little bit more based on personal experience as a system, and then she really hunkered down on very, very highly scientific stuff and really going through studies and looking at brain scans and sharing that with everybody. But we've always had an undercurrent of, we're doing this to help people. One of the main reasons that Chloe started was because when she was told that we had DID, the fear that came with it was incredibly overpowering. And then when people started asking us to make more content, we were like, we have a space where we can help people. We don't want anyone to hear, oh, you have this disorder, and feel the same kind of fear that we felt, and then looking for information, and there wasn't that much when we started. There's a lot more now, and it's known in the public sphere generally and online generally what DID is. When we were told, there was so little, and we felt like we were scrambling for information. What is happening to me? What does this mean? Am I going crazy? We've never really seen this as like, oh, let's sit down and make a channel, although we have always wanted to turn it into a charity, and at some point, hopefully, DissociaDID will be able to create a charity of its own, and that's something that we've been working towards this whole time. The more we've come to terms with our DID, and the more work we've done in therapy, the more we've started to learn and understand and uncover about our trauma. Because DID is a disorder that's born from repeated childhood trauma, and in our case, trauma that just never stopped. From when we were very young to now. Different kinds of traumas, abuse, and it's been a lifelong battle. At some point we started a TikTok, and the TikTok is called Kaya & Co, and it is not part of the DissociaDID project. It's just somewhere that we go to be ourselves, hang out and do our own thing, have our own social media that's just for us and not part of something bigger, like the DissociaDID project is. So it doesn't represent DissociaDID or anything like that. It's just somewhere where we could go to interact with people and process the things that we were remembering and things that were coming up. At one point we made a TikTok. It was basically letting people know that it wasn't your fault. I know that a lot of survivors of various kinds of assault and abuse tend to turn it back on themselves, because that's one thing that we feel like we can control. What did I do to deserve this? How did I cause this? If I hadn't done X, Y, Z, would this still have happened to me? Did I provoke it in some way? And it's all born out of a desperate need to try and keep ourselves safe, figure out what we did wrong so that it can never happen again. But I think it's also a form of self-harm, blaming yourself, especially because if the person who hurt you is somebody that you loved or love, it's hard to hold the two levels of feelings, the love for them and any and all positive memories, and then the pain and confusion and shame or whatever other emotions, anger, frustration that comes along with the fact that they abused you. And sometimes it's easier to turn that on yourself and think, it's my fault, they're a good person, I must have done something wrong to provoke this abuse. Even if you were a child, rather than be able to make sense of that cognitive dissonance and be able to say, no, this happened to me because they did something bad. They hurt me because they hurt me, not because I deserved it. Nobody deserves to be abused. It does not matter what you did. You could not cause it in the way that you might be thinking. And we made a video telling people it wasn't your fault. And the amount of comments we got on it was heartbreaking, from people being like, I know, but I still feel like it's my fault. I'll always blame myself. And we're a complete hypocrite, because we also blame ourselves, even if we know the truth. That comment section touched me so much. I was reading through all the comments and just sobbing and thinking, God, if I could wrap you all up in a hug, I would, but I can't. So what can we do? And I made a post on Antar, which is an app that our system members, our alders, use to communicate with each other. One of the ways that we communicate with each other. And say, look, this is what's happened. Can you make a video, a short, tiny snippet of a video, just telling people it's not their fault? Because all of us in our system, even though we all have different moral scales that we work by, and different opinions and different viewpoints and different life experiences, and everything about all of us is different and unique, but we will all stand together on it was not your fault. You did not deserve it, and you are not to blame. And maybe it wasn't something that could have been avoided, and that is so unfair. But it's not because of you. You are not bad, you're not wrong. And I really hope that any shame you feel is lifted soon. It wasn't your fault. And one thing that all of us can agree on is that. I don't know which alters made which snippets, because that's something I didn't think of. I just find them in my gallery, my photo gallery on our phone. Some of them you may be able to recognise, some of them you probably can't, because most of them I can't. But here's from us to remind you that it's going to be alright. You're seen. And the self-hatred and the shame and the pain that you feel over what happened, it's not your fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. It ain't your fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. I know this might have been a lot, If you feel any kind of connection to it, just take a minute to sit with it. If you feel overwhelmed, ground, breathe, have some water, and know that it's okay. If you have a therapist, speak to your therapist, but you're not on your own. No one will have experienced what you experienced in quite the same way that you experienced it, but other people may have been through have similar feelings. You don't have to struggle on your own. If you need help, please reach out for help. It was not your fault. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell if you want to see more videos from us, because that'll let you know when we're uploading. If you want to hang out with us on our other social medias, make sure you go and follow them. All the links are in our description box. Please be safe, take it easy, and know that you're cared about and you're seen and you're heard. Lots of love, everybody. Bye.